So welcome back. So as I said, tonight we have a two-in-one show. In the first part, we talk about employment, labor, and jobs with Minister Hassan. Is it Abdul Rashid Pelpuo?
Yes, Rashid Pelpuo.
But you have a longer name. Is it Abdul
Rashid Hassan Pelpuo.
Abdul Rashid Hassan Pelpuo, MP for Wa Central. You've been MP for 5 terms.
Yes, 6th term now.
You're in your 6th term. So you entered Parliament in 2008?
5.
2005?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you are the Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labor. You are the only minister from the Upper West region so far.
Yes.
That's serious. Will there be more?
Hopefully. Hopefully, perhaps a deputy minister or...
Yeah. Because the NDC got a clean sweep in your region.
Yeah.
All the seats.
The 11 seats, yeah.
Is this the first time that has happened?
No.
It's happened before?
It's happened before. It happened in John Mahama's time, Jerry Rawlings' time, consistently. In Atta Mills's time, all of it. But
there's always been either Ambrose Derry or there's always been 1 or 2 MPP.
Yes. In fact, in the last one, before this one, there were 3 MPs from the MPP side that won, yeah.
Were you expecting this role?
The role I'm playing now?
Employment, because I know you've been minister for private sector before.
Yes.
Sports before.
Yeah.
So this employment thing, was this something you were expecting? Did the president tell you that's what he was going to give you?
No, I didn't.
Actually,
I didn't try to find out what they were going to give me, and I wasn't lobbying too. So I'm sure the president looked at the circumstances around me and the composure of the person and decided that, look, this guy should be here, who would listen to the people and be able to speak to them.
From the outside, it looks like a difficult ministry. I don't see people actively lobbying for it. Usually you hear finance, everybody wants finance, everybody wants, which one? Roads.
Yeah.
Maybe energy. They are the big ones.
Yeah.
But employment looks like a difficult one because it's almost like it's only the negative news that you have to. I mean, am I correct in the way it's perceived from outside?
Of course, you meet workers who are angry, who are seeking a certain change in circumstance, and they are agitating for it.
Yeah.
Government is unable to provide. They are demonstrating their frustration, and there's somebody who has to sit with them and talk with them and let them agree and understand the trends and how government is working and all that. And so you're also faced with people trying to enter the job market and thinking that it is through you, it can happen. So you face 2 situations, both of which are levels of frustration. If young people are not getting the job, they came to you, they don't get, they are not happy.
Yeah.
And their frustrations you are the one who will hear their frustrations. If workers are in the job and they are not getting what they want, they express their frustration. You are the one who will hear their frustrations.
Yeah.
So it's a ministry that creates a balance between the anger, frustration, and a system of stability and understanding that this is what we have, and that's what your country is. This is what it can provide.
Yeah.
Trying to get them to appreciate and understand that.
Yeah. I was checking when the list of ministers came. I think you are one of only 2 or 3 ministers who were born before 1970 in Mahama's government. I think it's you, and then the Attorney General, and then I think the Minister for Fisheries, and 1 or 2. Almost all of them are aged below 60. Did you think that the president? So my point is, you are probably one of the most experienced, both age-wise, and also politics-wise. So, do you think that was one of the reasons why he gave you this difficult ministry?
I don't know whether age counts, but I suppose experience will have an input into it. Yeah, and also looking at what I'm made up of. The education I've received, where I've been through with working with the youth of Ghana, working in the sports ministry, where lots of situations occurred, anger occurred when the Black Stars are not performing well. Then I came in and brought the Black Stars to a high level of success. Then I became a deputy majority leader at a time when we were almost, the same level as the MPP, and managed to get through and got my party to win an election. And if you look at all these difficult circumstances and the outcomes, you'll find a person who seemed to be somebody who understands, who sees, who listens, who tries to cure situations. So I'm sure with all these things, he may have decided that, look, this guy can do this job.
So the name of the ministry is interesting. Employment, Jobs and Labor Relations. This is the first time I've seen jobs in the name of the ministry. It's always Ministry of Employment or Labor. So what is that? Why have you added jobs to the, and does that change what the ministry means to what it was before?
The ministry is given the mandate of developing a policy relation between the government, the employer, and the working people of Ghana. And then it's also given the job, so those are people in stabilized job who are in the public sector, civil service, and private sector. And you have a situation where there is a transition from being in school into being a working person. So how do we get the labor of the country ready and working? That's where the labor is. How do we get those who are unemployed in school to become employed and working? So that transition is important, and the two will have definitely to go together. Whilst we are dealing with the situation of labor, look at how people are also getting into labor, and so they look at the two and find that they are closely linked.
So your job includes finding work for people who don't have work?
Yes.
And then managing the employment for those who have work?
Yes.
But the word pensions used to be part of the ministry. Is that part of it?
Part of it.
So those who are out of work, those who are in work, and those who leave?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah, you've created it well.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
As a minister. How many agencies work under you?
Presently, 5 agencies.
Which are they?
We have the pension.
Okay. So that's NPRA, National Pension Regulatory Authority.
You have the Labor Commission. You have the Factory Inspection. You have the
Fair Wages and Salaries
Fair Wages and Salaries, and then you have the Statistical Service.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your priority as a minister? What's the top 2 things you are supposed to do this year or this term?
This term, to reflect the promises we made to the youth, to get them to understand that it is possible for them to get jobs, and that if it is not in Ghana, it can be somewhere else. So we are creating that circumstance of job creation. I'm building confidence in them to know that they can work both in Ghana and outside Ghana. And I'm linking up with various ministries and agencies to make sure if jobs are available in their places, open it up for young people. And I'm also having a discussion with governments outside Ghana who are interested in working with, migrating labor from Ghana, and creating a condition of labor transfer to them, and a form that will enable the young person do so with the same level of conditions of respect and dignity they will have in Ghana. And they will do so working in healthy conditions and earning enough, outside Ghana. So these are the issues I'm harping on now, creating a situation of job availability to.
But how does a government create jobs?
Government simply provides the needed condition for job creation. Run an economy that can be trustworthy, make the private sector feel that this is a place to invest, and if you can do so and give the reason why people can stay in your country and work, you have investment, increased investment. And if you can make sure they are confident in the money they input, that it will yield something to them, then they input more, expand their businesses, create more jobs, and employ more people. So, and government itself will begin to expand its agencies because the market is becoming big. So the agencies that will attend to the market will also have to be bigger. You know, bigger hospitals are being built, bigger departments are being built, and they also create jobs for the people. So
the government doesn't create the job itself. It creates the environment for jobs to be created.
For job creations, yes.
But that environment is created by the finance minister. He's the one who's running the economy. So if the economy is well run, the jobs will be created. So why is jobs part of your portfolio then?
The finance minister dwells on finance. It dwells on the economy. The outcome of the economy is the agric minister, is all the other ministries. If they collapse, if the finances collapse, every other ministries collapse. I'm just one of the ministries that functions well when the economy does well. And so you can't heap all of them into finance. If we do so, finance itself will collapse. Because rather than attending to how much we can keep a balance between expenditure and income, we are running out of ideas in taking care of other situations. So how much money can you borrow? How much money can you spend? How much money can you generate from the resources of the, So all these are key questions that one single person has to answer, and that's the finance minister. Once he deviates from these areas, then he might be finding problems making the economy conducive for investment and for us all to exist.
I think one of the most important things that have happened in your time has been the minimum wage and the wage negotiations.
Yeah.
The president was in that meeting. Why was he in that meeting? Was he supposed to be there? Is he always in those meetings?
No, at all, not at all. The president demonstrated very strongly to the world that this is a man who understands what the Ghanaian wants, and he understands the level of the kind of things that he has to do to create confidence in the people that he cares about them. And so I was even surprised myself when we called him and told him, look, we are negotiating with labor. We've gotten to the point when we needed much more force to give to them, to understand that we are serious with what we are saying. And we asked him whether it is possible for him to pass by. He said, why not? And then he told his security, you don't need to accompany me. I just want to take a car, drive there, and go into the meeting.
This was after he was sworn in as president?
Oh, yeah,
he was full president?
After he was sworn in as president. After we were...
So this meeting was in your office?
In my office. When I was sworn in myself. And, so he drove there, got down, no military, no police, walked to the place and sat with us. And then, we
So this was the tripartite committee?
Yeah, the tripartite
government,
committee.
Employers, and organized labor?
And organized labor.
And the president was sitting with government?
Yeah, he sat with us.
So in government was you, him, and who?
And the finance minister.
On one side?
Yeah.
Then TUC, Federation of Labor on one side?
Yes.
And then Employers Association?
Yes.
How long did the meeting last?
I think it was about 20 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
But he stayed, when he came, within 20 minutes, he had made his contribution.
What did he say?
I told you, we got to a point when the labor had proposed 35% increments. We proposed...
Of base pay?
Yes, of base pay. And we came down to 9%.
Okay.
Willing to go up to 10%. But they look at us and it was funny to them. How can you, 35, you are getting to 9%.
And you are going up to 10.
And going up to 10. And we thought about going up to 10, but we didn't come out to 10. So when the president came, it was a shocker to all of us, all of them. And then he sat with us, and after listening to the arguments, the debates, Then he said, okay, I've listened to both. I know there are challenges in the economy, and I want you all to understand the economy is not what you imagine it should be. You know where we are coming from and the situation we find ourselves. And I just want to make a proposal that we go up to 10%. And then the government side, we thought that it was brilliant. We endorsed it. And then the Labour side, you know, they didn't know whether they were accepting or not accepting. Then somebody proposed that once the president has made a proposal, he could then leave so that we can talk about it.
They didn't know he was coming for the meeting?
They didn't know.
So you put that on them as a surprise?
Yeah.
You probably disarmed them because to have come to a meeting and then see the president walk in.
Yeah.
But that wasn't fair. That was not a fair labor practice.
Oh, it's very fair labor practice. You know, government means...
Or fair negotiation tactic. To bring a president in when they didn't know.
Actually, it's the fairest you can find because they are looking for the president. We were representing him.
Were they happy to see him or surprised?
Oh, they were happy. Very,
Sure.
very happy. In fact, when he came in, they sang one of our songs.
He sang, they
sang one of our campaign songs.
The organized labor sang your campaign
Some
song?
of them.
In
fact, they started it and then
Hey.
others said, no, don't go there. Then they
Wow.
stopped. I mean, it just shows the kind of respect they have for the
I
man.
see.
It didn't mean that they were giving up their because if they had given up, they wouldn't have been on his face proposing and insisting on their 35%. But it was a show of respect to him.
Was this base pay for all public sector workers? Is that what it means?
Yes.
When they say base pay?
Yes, it's for all public sector.
Doctors, teachers, nurses,
Everybody.
police, everybody.
Yes. But you see, I think people, what it is that it doesn't mean that's what people are going to be paid. We are saying that anybody working in the public service, in the public space, even outside the public service, if you want to pay, you are going to pay not below 10% of the present increase in the base level.
So that's what the base
salary.
pay means. Which one is this? Was this the same meeting or this a different meeting?
Yeah, this was the last meeting I held with them.
Who are these people?
This is CLOSAC.
CLOSAC, the guys who went to strike over the bet and bet registry.
Yes.
DG.
Yes. Yeah, CLOSAC, you know, they came in not so happy with the fact that government is not responding to their demands. And so I decided that I should call their leadership and have a final word with them. In fact, we had been negotiating. So I invited them to a meeting. They came, and then I spoke to them. I told them about the fact that this is a new government. We have listened to what they want. Give us time to deliberate upon it. And there were issues about legality. The law was that, look, there is a stipulation that you don't get involved in politics at the civil service level. And they are civil service. So you don't go and employ anybody to head a civil service department with the person having political callous will mean that we are transgressing on the existing regulations and laws. And I agreed with them that if you are in the civil service, you don't demonstrate party politics, you don't demonstrate party alliances or behave in manners that show you are a party person. But not when you are outside the circles of civil service. So the gentleman was outside the circles of civil service when he demonstrated that he was a party person. Once he gave up that one and entered into the civil service, he should be seen not to be a political person any longer, except when he demonstrates that kind of political alliance in that new
So this was
position.
an argument to them, and they did accept the argument?
They didn't accept it. They still insisted that even if you wore political colors outside,
You are politicians.
you are a politician.
So
you
was
shouldn't be brought
this
in.
thing I'm seeing was after you had spoken to them?
After I spoke to them, we came to a certain compromise. My articulation kind of impressed them, and they agreed with me and decided that
They will call off the strike.
They will call off the strike.
Can I hear what they are singing? Is it possible for me to hear it, people? I want to hear the song they are singing. see. So Minister Dowa Adonibi. So this was after they agreed to call off the strike.
Yes.
So the guy next to you is Pelpuo Ado.
Yes.
The
That's
Clocksack president.
The Clocksack president. Yeah.
So this is 25th March, right? This is last weekend.
Yes.
A week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So Clocksacks are called off their strike.
They have.
I see.
And I salute them for the show of respect and their understanding and cooperation with us. I think that the leadership demonstrated high level leadership quality and respect for the people of Ghana.
Is there any strike going on as we speak?
Yeah, I just 2 days ago I heard about a strike at the Technical University of
Hilal Liman.
Hilal Liman, yeah.
This is TUTAG.
Yes. And then I also got a letter from NUCS, the Teachers Union, indicating that they are very angry with we not listening to their demands, and they were sending a signal that they will also go on strike.
The teacher union.
Yeah.
Is it NAGRAT?
NAGRAT.
Or
NAGRAT. NAGRAT and NAGRAT they were also sent a signal to us that they are not happy with some negotiations that are failing, and they will also want to go on strike.
So TUTAG for the Liman University is on strike.
It's on strike.
But the Clocksack strike has been ended.
Yes.
And then there's NAGRAT giving indication of strike. All right, let me ask you 2 very quick questions as we sort of move to a close. The President's Secretary issued a directive ordering the immediate suspension of all post-retirement contract appointments for retired public service staff across the country. And he said the directive took effect from immediately, and that the government was not going to grant any of such contracts to people above 60. Do you understand why the president is doing this?
Yeah, the president is just reflecting the existing law and circumstance. The acts, that's the 766, 766, and I think PNDC law 247. All are saying that, look, the retirement age is 60. After 60, you are retired. It is what Senate also recognizes. Because so when you fill your form and then for employment and you get to 60, they signal you are up to 60, and by law you should resign. But some circumstances would compel the president to give you another 1 year or 2 years. Now, people have abused the circumstance. People just finish their job and they say, look, let me stay for 1 more year. And then they talk to 1 or 2 people, they are giving 1 more year, and they stay on, or 2 more years. After the 2 years, they ask for 2 more years. And at the expense of the people who should have been in job. I know of a situation where somebody at his age of retirement was given 2 more years. At the end of the 2 more years, was given another 2 more years. His deputy retired out of the job. He should have had the opportunity to become the chief executive. So he couldn't get the opportunity. The young man who was waiting for the shift to happen so that he can also get in, couldn't get in. And this person or persons will stay on and on. But it doesn't mean that it is completely out of space or out of decision to do that. It is possible we can do that. Reason being this: supposing our nuclear installation put up by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah still existed. Nuclear science is a very high-tech science and require high-level technological drive and understanding. If you put somebody there who has studied the thing and can understand how it operates, it's very difficult. It's very dangerous to give it to somebody who is new, because when it explodes, it's killing everybody. So you don't give it to somebody who is learning. So if somebody at the age of retirement retires, you can still call the person back to continue to man the station, but not in a situation where, it's just a management of civil society, a management of civil departments, which is not any technical thing. Then you say, oh, I'm so the place is so technical that I think government will still need me. So I apply for an additional 2 years.
Okay. So if I get you right, generally he's enforcing the law, but there could be exceptions.
There could be exceptions. And he decides that at the moment there are no such exceptions. And that's logical. I don't think there are.
But there are people who have been appointed who are 59. IGP is 59 years old. Does that mean when he's 60 he won't be retained?
It's all dependent on the will of the president. Yeah, if he decides to keep him there, the law allows the president to do so.
But he just recently, his secretary has just issued a statement that they will not extend. So I'm just saying I can assume that the IGP, when he's 60, he's going.
Yeah, it's possible.
I see.
It's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying that is it, but it's possible that when he assumes 60, the president will decide not to. You know.
Is this a cost-saving measure or just following the law by the letter?
I think both. We are running a difficult budget now. We have an economy that had been abused before several years and is struggling to recover. And if you ignore the pain the economy is going through, the Trojan effects of economic indicators, and decide that you would continue to do what had been done earlier, it will show poor understanding of how economies recover.
I see.
Yeah.
I have two quick things to ask you about. Your government's work abroad program, what is that?
The position, the situation where the workers in Ghana here will have an opportunity to work elsewhere. It is what is called in our labor parlance international labor migration.
Okay.
Yeah, where you can migrate. Every country has that migration law or instructions. So when you have excess labor, you can transport the excess labor or give them an avenue to go and work elsewhere in a respectable, conducive, legal
So any
manner.
specific sectors that you are focusing on, or is this for all sectors?
Yeah, so it depends on the countries requiring the labor we need.
Okay.
Quite recently, the Barbados ambassador, a very brilliant lady, came to my office, and then after we had a discussion, those kind of bilateral discussion, she went on to request that she would like to have Ghanaian nurses in her country. We had sent some there, but she says that they still need more. She praised how effective Ghanaian nurses are. And I've also met a Romanian who said that the Ghanaians who came there to work, he was so amazed and cited a Ghanaian who did something miraculous. There's a machine which was newly constructed, these big machines that are moving the earth moving machines. And that one was particularly specified for something else.
Okay.
And then even people who learned to use it were finding it difficult to run it. And then there's a Ghanaian who was just sent there, and then he just entered the thing and started operating it. And he said this was a shocking thing to them. So all over there are praises of Ghanaians who are doing well intellectually. Those who are in school are demonstrating that they know what they're about. So, and the fact that our lingua franca, the English, is a strong language capacity we have, which people will easily want to use, because it's spoken everywhere else. And Ghanaians speak very good English.
So you are encouraging Ghanaians to go and work abroad?
I'm encouraging Ghanaians who have no job in Ghana. In fact, I've met people who say, as soon as I took the ministry, students come to me, young people would come to me and say, Honorable, I have finished school since 2020, and to date, I don't have a job. One person came to me, a chartered accountant. He said he chartered in 2017.
Okay.
He's still trying to get a permanent job. All the while now, he's doing galamsey jobs. Jobs that are not permanent. And no, so he's now looking for a job that can keep him at home, keep him stable. So these are many people who have learned plumbing, people who have learned carpentry, people who have learned mechanical engineering at lower levels. They are all there, not having jobs to do. So we are saying that, why do we keep these people in existentia? Let them find space and work somewhere.
Okay.
Let's sign contracts for them, 5 years contracts. If they finish, they can come back to Ghana and be able to invest on their own.
I see. So when can I call you to ask you to give me a report on how many jobs you've created? You've been in office for 3 months.
Yes.
When will you have something to report on jobs created?
I believe I'm trying hard to make sure I give a report to the president in 120 days. His 120-day promise agenda.
So you give him something on after 120. So that's in probably a week or two.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
I'm going to contribute to the 120 days.
Right.
But in effect, in 6 months, I also hope that I would have been able to give you substantially
what you've done. Let me read two final comments. Good evening, Bernard. We, the graduate teachers, are still home without employment. There was an initial process to employ us, but we have been halted. But that has been halted after the new government took office. That's a nameless one. Good evening, Bernard. Said from Ahafo at Chirensua. The minister possesses that it is government's duty to create the necessary conditions for job creation. That's an interesting thing to hear. However, does the employment minister justify the revocation of thousands of appointments to the NHIA, GRA, and other such agencies, given that these individuals were appointed in October and November 2024, but have been handed high sentences from the Office of the Chief of Staff? So he's saying, if you say government doesn't create jobs, why do you sack people who've been employed 2-3 months to end of government? This is what he's saying. Just have a minute to respond before we go. In
actual fact, the president has set up a committee to look into all the people who are complaining that they are sacked unfairly. I'm a co-chairman of that committee. We are working very hard.
Okay.
We've taken all their complaints and we are getting to get them a response.
Okay.
Let me tell you, Bernard, in that space of time, after they lost elections, they employed 12,000 people within a week or two.
In which sector?
In all sectors, a combination of...
After December 7th?
After December 7th.
They employed 12,000 people?
12,000 people.
Were these all... But how do you know if the process had not started before the election?
And so that's what we are doing now. We are now investigating it. The president
12,000 people?
Yes.
Employed after December 7th?
Yes. So the president said,
wow,
go and investigate. Let us know what happened. Let those who had a history of getting employed and gotten the job, let's know them. If there was an interview, you went through the interview, you did that and did that, keep them, don't sack them. But if there was somebody who will call you and say, you come, the next day they are giving you a letter, go and work, no records at all in the place, then there must be questions about that. So we are investigating it and our results will come out soon.
Thank you, Honorable Rashid Pelpuo, Minister for Employment, Jobs and Labour, MP for West Central. We'll talk to you after 6 months.
Thank you.
To give us your scorecard. The point of view is still live. When we come back, Kojo Ponkrumah joins us. There was drama at the home of John Intim Fojo, MP for Asin South, who's the ranking member on the Committee on Interior and Defense. And we'll be finding out what happened there and what the minority's position is. Stay with us.